Anyway, I've kind of said, in a roundabout way, what I was trying to get at.
Just be true to yourself in whatever you do.
I agree.
Act according to your best understanding.
Mm.
Don't rush into folly.
Mm-hmm.
Take a pause. Remember who you're meant to be, and how else are you meant to know what you're meant to be? Unless people start instructing, this is what you're supposed to be. Not this guy did this, that, or the other. This is a prophecy about each and every child that comes into the world. This is who you're meant to be in your heart.
Well, you can't really simplify my belief. Neither can I simplify your belief. It's a massive thing.
It's not
it's everything you are.
It's not belief, it's a being. It's...
Je suis. I am. Just amness.
It's authenticity. As you see it and you understand it, this is who I'm meant to be.
But that's why I'm saying my unique way of seeing it.
In day-to-day life, you've got so much stuff which isn't written about.
You know why we've got human rights and why it was written down is because we see things slightly differently. We all want different things.
What rights have we got which can't be taken away? It's a pen like that.
Yeah, but like all things written on paper, it's so we can remember, so we can go back, refer to it.
Human rights. We all have
Yeah,
God as our spiritual father.
But not everybody's following it, and that's why some people thought it's a good idea if we write it down. Then when these people don't do it, we can refer back to it. Because if it's like Animal Bloody Farm, and it's just a word sound, and everyone's giving lip service, you end up with, it starts with, oh, no animals allowed to sleep in a bed, because we've decided that's an evil act in our culture, in our belief system. Sleeping in a bed, oh, that's evil. But suddenly, some realise, actually, it's not so bad sleeping in a bed, so we'll have to change that, and we'll say, you can't sleep in a bed with sheets on them. Then we can sleep in the bed, you see, because we've changed the wording of it. Yeah? So if people can change the wording of it, because people are not paying attention, that's what happens. Yeah? Human beings are very fickle and weak creatures when, we need sleep, we need food, we need taken care of in so many different ways. We can't just be out in nature with our naked self or we'll die. We're different, but we're the same in some ways from everything else that lives here. Look at the way we objectify everything on the planet for our own use.
We.
Yeah, part of the we. I think you're part of the we, man.
I am.
Which is part of other I ams.
There is none else.
Is there no other I ams?
It is.
That's a bit solipsistic, man.
It's one I am.
I think that's what some people, again, I'll say it like this, and I don't want you to be offended, I'm just saying it like this.
I don't want any gross generalisation, please, thank you.
Well, I have to say it like this because I no other way I can phrase it. The general attitude
attitude. What do we know about the general attitude?
Well, what I know of the general attitude...
Right, just speak about yourself. What is your attitude?
No, I'm talking... My attitude is that I have seen evangelical...
Do you know
extrovert believers.
Do you know them?
Yeah, I know them. I know them, and they're quite annoying in the sense that nothing else outside their belief system can ever exist. And I'm like, well, I'm not like that anymore. I'm a bit more open-minded. I make allowances.
All paths lead to the truth.
They're gonna if we fully explore them. They're going to, but people don't have the patience because it's a long meander back from where they got their truth from to actually, if you just peep around the corner, now you see why we said what we said in the first place. Don't do that because you'll end up where you are. That's where you are. You're there. And I'm here. Which also proves that truth. So this truth about if you do good is true. And this truth about if you do bad is also true.
There you go. We're doing
in our reality.
Good or bad.
And if you don't see it like that...
The general opinion out there is probably...
There is no action you can take.
And traditional in some sort of sense.
But is that not better than paralysis?
What paralysis? Who's paralysed?
Well, many of those who have this is just me without.
Are you saying that I'm paralysed? That I'm not doing anything? I'm doing very well, thank you. Well, thank God.
Well, you're not making yourself a problem to others, so in one sense, yeah, you're doing good.
No, I'm not looking to do good. I'm just looking to be myself. This is what I am.
Well, there's many other I ams, and they just don't take anybody else in this world. It's just me, myself, and I, and that's all that matters. I pay my rent. I'm being good. I'm doing okay.
There you go, being good again. You just stop that. I'm trying to say, just be yourself. The good or bad of it doesn't matter. If what you do is perceived as bad by everyone else, what do you perceive yourself in response?
Well, it can only ever be a subjective idea of what good is, isn't it?
Just being yourself.
Because until some other objective mind comes and puts into my subjective mind an idea that I go, oh, that sounds correct, and I should incorporate that into myself if I'm being true and genuine and honest with myself and how I want to be in my behaviour, that makes me feel good.
Right, so be godlike because God is good. Yeah? How can people understand that? Well, be Jesus-like then.
Because God had to come in the flesh, because he had to be seen to be believed.
No, God is in the flesh. Didn't have to go. He is
in everybody, yes.
Right, so
but there had to be one particular Neo for everybody to suddenly start believing.
The fucking particular Neo, except there's only me that I know that's on the fucking plan.
But before there was you, was there an objective you that you could look at and go, do I want to be like that?
Before this, it was all waiting to come.
I think many adults take their own knowledge of things, their own journey, for granted.
No, Jules, don't talk about many adults. Just talk about your fucking self. Yeah?
I am talking about myself.
No, well, don't talk about many adults then. Are you many adults?
I see people do the same things.
Just
think
talk
the same
about
way.
Why?
Why just talk about myself? Why can't you?
Why generalise your opinion? Why can't it just be your opinion? This is what I.
Because I've seen in my reality, in my life, that people have shared
react in such and
opinions.
such and such way. I think this or that opinion.
You know why I can say a word and you understand it? Because we share language. Okay? And just like ideas, language is an idea. Yeah. Every word spoken provokes an idea in the mind. Right? And ideas, as you know, get manifest in different ways. Spiritually, mentally and physically. That's the limits to our reality, our perception of things. Right? Through inaction, certain types of action can happen. Through action, certain types of things can happen. Now, we judge good and bad based on whether it has a positive or negative effect on our well-being. And to take away that, the responsibility, you know, people that throw rubbish on the street then say, oh, well, you know, I don't want it in my pocket. Makes my world feel good. Those people that have that kind of view on the world, I'm not saying that's you.
No,
I'm just saying people like that I've seen.
Let's
I'm allowed to have
I'm also in that, and I also have those other thoughts where it's like, oh, I shouldn't really do that. Depends what day you catch me on, what moment of the day you catch me on.
But you know, I'm not here to judge you about what you're about.
No, I'm here to judge me.
Well, judge you then, because in judging me.
Why would I judge you?
Well, you're saying many of the things I'm saying are wrong or incorrect, and I'm saying, well, yeah, from your point of view, from your perspective. That's the problem with the world, isn't it? We've all got a different perspective, and how do we harmonise perspective? Well, the elites use the propaganda tools, don't they?
In this room,
there's nothing wrong.
2 or 3 are gathered together and blah blah blah. If you say something wrong, as I perceive it, that's just the same as I'm saying something wrong. So I'm going to correct myself. It's not like that. It's more like this. It's one conversation.
Well, is it though? Because I see a lot of people kind of jump to the conclusion of where someone's coming from. They're like, well, you think you're going where I'm going with this conversation, and all I'm trying to say is, okay, people that want to do the evil end up seeing the truth anyway. Yeah, because that's how it is. That's in our reality. It gets manifest.
Yeah, but Paul was writing all of this at least 1,000 and odd years ago.
And is it true? Or isn't it true?
The good that I seek to do, and I try and do good, and I just doing evil. It's like the intention, the spirit's willing, flesh is weak. Yeah, we know all of that.
So we're more
that's
akin to failure than success.
Just have an idea of who you're meant to be.
It's like, why is... Because this is what I want to help change as well. The perception within people that negative news is more popular than positive news.
With who?
With who? With the majority.
With you?
With the majority.
Well, what do we know about the
I've
majority?
done my own little experiment.
We know what they say about the majority. But they're always pushing some generalised bullshit propaganda.
Yeah, and people believe it,
right.
And
so we can't
they've got a lot of money pushing it daily.
With lots of different attitudes towards it.
Well, we've just got to keep, both ideas out there, the good and the bad. And then people can make an informed choice.
Good or the bad.
Yeah.
Or the in-between.
Yeah.
Right, well there's a lot
choice.
There's a lot of in-between out there. And with so much opinion, what's yours? Have you had time to actually think for your bloody self? Or you can too concerned with what everyone else thinks?
I've got a lot of time to think for myself, but I know that my reality could be, I suppose, alright in that sense. A very lonely reality without anybody else, working alongside. Can you handle that? Can anyone handle that? They look at this Jesus Christ guy and say, oh, he was single all his life. And it's like, well, I don't know about that. But also I don't know, even if he had a relationship, was it all hunky-dory and they never argued and it wasn't, is he not described as he was a man? But because we like to embellish the story, you don't want to show you the negative bit.
Yeah, but you're talking about historical Jesus now again, aren't you? I am. Are you not?
I am. And so the story could have been written about
this
now.
I am also recognises that in the beginning.
Don't you think 2,000 years? There was 2,000 years ago.
And the Father brought a woman into my life.
Do you think there's been people before us?
It all went a little bit to cop. The testimony of Jesus Christ is the spirit of prophecy.
Did I just wake up in this world after my parents gave birth to me, and then somehow their generation built all of this and everything on all the ideas that preceded it? Or are we to believe that there was lots and lots of people been here before us, and we've kind of been evolving the idea? That's the thing that evolves. Evolving the idea of what life is about to try and get to a better version of life, because we know it's the idea, the thought, that creates the emotion, that creates the action. And that's how we as the creators in us, bring about the changes and manifest the changes in our reality. Like Mark Passio says, if people were doing more the right things, not following the orders, and actually, realising that they have to input some serious energy, some serious time, some serious positivity into changing the conditions on Earth, because we say we don't like these conditions on Earth, but our going along with it is precisely what keeps it going. It perpetuates itself. It's now become self-perpetuating.
Going anyway until the Father says time.
Who's the Father? You're the Father. You just told me that.
No.
You're the Son, and the Father is the Son, and the Son is the Father.
What you see is the Son.
The Father is the Son is the Father. Starting back with my conversation. My Son is me.
I am in the Father, but you can't see the Father.
No one can come to the Father except by the Son. No one can come to the Father except by the Son.
Right. So
right. No one can come to know the Son but by the Father.
No, actually.
Oh, is it? Wait.
Oh,
before you say that.
Except the Father draw him.
Whoa. But even that, let's look at our reality a minute. Let's forget for a crazy minute and just say there's only flesh. I know what you see. Does a father produce a child? Yes, he does. So it's a reality that. I'm in reality with that.
If I be a father, then where is my glory?
All around, mate. All around. To be beheld. In between even.
Yeah.
In between the spaces.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're wrong. What I'm saying is,
No,
make an allowance.
What you're saying is a bit what's the word? It's not all hunky dory.
No, life isn't hunky dory, but that doesn't change where I'm trying to get to. I just try to find another avenue to get there.
People have had children from generation, and kind of read the first couple of pages and don't really bother with the rest. It's
Getting back to what I was saying about the other, because the problem, some could say, oh, it's with you. Okay, so I make these changes. Does that in fact correct the reality and manifest the changes that I require? No. So therefore I've come to realise the change that's required is not within me, but within the other. You understand? Because if only one, it's like two people cannot, be walking in different directions and expect to end up in the same place.
You should have recognised this
together.
Your problem's still yourself.
No. It's not the problem. I have no problem with myself for sorting my life out like that.
What do you really expect of any other, because it narrows that other down?
Yeah, but don't bring that into this. This is an entirely different discussion.
This is what we know.
No, that's just saying me. I could walk away from that tomorrow. That's not going to change who I am. I'm still doing the same things. My prosperity will still come through. I know that they will suffer. But as a consequence of their suffering, do not my own flesh and blood, who I help create, suffer? Therefore, is it right or wrong? And we're talking about right and wrong again. As if such a thing exists. Because some people say, oh, there's no right or wrong. Just do whatever. Which is wishy-washy.
Well,
bullshit to me.
There's passages in there which talk about how, so I was your husband, and look at how you've gone on with these foreign gods, and relating it to ourselves on a personal sort of, for those of us with a wife and with children. And there's certain, not necessarily abandoned, but I'll leave you to your own devices sort of thing, and you see them come up and stuff. It's not a nice part of the book. I've not really, it relates to me still in my own way, but as a father and a parent, it
was with great sorrow, that Haggai was sent away, but Haggai knew what she was doing and refused to change her behaviour, and as a result, as a consequence of her behaviour,
was Haggai the wife?
No, she was
she
was the servant, but she was trying to wind up Sarah, or Sarai at that time.
Because he didn't send his wife away, did he?
He didn't send his wife away, no, because that's the one he chose to be with. But Haggai was there doing a job. Let's not confuse it with love.
Which is wife.
But Haggai wanted the love. It's like the taming of the shrew. She wanted control of the man, and the only way she could get control of the man is if the man loved her, and he would prostrate before her. She couldn't get that, so she tried to vex up the woman, and Abraham wasn't having that. You're not vexing up my woman, you only wait for me, alright, you got a kid. But back then perception was different, wasn't it? Perception was, I can have children here, there and everywhere. That's how the human race is created. We don't view things then, because ideas have evolved. Not man, just the idea of what we are. I've evolved, I got a suit and a tie on, and trainers and things like that, Back in the day I had sandals and an overall. I evolved because, I made a club into a spear. I've evolved.
Apparently I do have a wedding to look forward to.
When our idea of ourselves evolves, that's when marriage is the joining of consciousness. That's what it is. Most people in this world, they want weddings, which is a show-off thing to their friends. Mostly women, they love to say to their friend, see, I got married and my wedding was brilliant. My wedding was huge and spent so much money making it the best ever, the biggest extravaganza.
They say in memory children were born as a joining of flesh and not of consciousness.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying most women think that a wedding is a marriage. I'm talking about how I think about it, whether I'm with anybody, right? Doesn't matter. And a lot of men
to say what most women think, not us, who are just men.
When I see women getting married, what's promoted through the brainwash is, it's got to be huge extravaganza. And because one woman's done it, my woman who sits at home watching the latest bitches on fucking Heat called The Desperate Bullshitters, right, who spend the husband's money and have done nothing to deserve or earn that money, yeah, that I can see, nothing, not one talent amongst them except being, I'm a whore, I got a body, sleep with me until I'm haggard, now you're not interested, oh I'm worried, I'm desperate. Bullshit living that now ends up with this. Yeah, but you see people like me, I'll go on.
That's the trouble, you see. She's spending her time hearing and seeing about the other.
Through the brainwash propaganda.
Yeah,
they get brainwashed.
But then you come with your, or most women and generalisations as well. I'd rather you try and break out of that and just...
You would rather, but again, this is the problem with what people want to hear.
There's a lot of blood-clot women in the world.
Yes, there is. There is. and I hear a lot of stories from a lot of blood-clot men. And in that same stories, you see a common thread. And I'm allowed to recognise the pattern.
That's a small sample in a bloody wide.
There's a pattern. And some of us learn it quicker than others.
Maybe it's a localised pattern.
Or maybe it's global, and the people need to accept that. If you show the same propaganda to people in Africa, they become it. If you show the same propaganda to people in Papua New Guinea, they become it. If you show it in Australia, or England, or Germany, or France, they become what they see. Monkey see, monkey do. That's where the phrase comes from. We're the monkey. Okay?
So they're not being authentic to themselves, they're following one another.
And so if you don't know yourself, if you don't have an anchor, if you don't have a moral compass...
That's the whole point of... that's the safety of this path.
Well, you found it. Well done.
Know thyself. I mean, come on. Know thyself. How long's that been going around? Know thyself.
Yes.
Well, know your bloody self.
Last time that phrase was used, Neo went and fought for others because others couldn't do what he did.
He was just being himself.
Yeah, but it doesn't take away from the fact that that's a reality, and anybody who doesn't like that...
Trying to do for others will stump. Just be yourself. He did it because, yeah, okay, this is actually who I am.
We've all got a cross to bear.
This is the sort of thing I do with my time.
Maybe your cross to bear is to have these conversations.
It's not a cross to bear. It's a sharpening of myself. It's a clarification of myself. It's something for you to see and share.
But in relation to what I have learned, I haven't just learned it from one relationship. I've learned it from all the interactions I've had in my entire life. And I'm due for some more.
But I can't take my idea of women necessarily from your experience, because there's a lot of blood-clot women out there. It's unfair to generalise.
Well, when you finally get 1 and 2, you know.
1 and 2.
Well, however many you need to get there.
How many was made for me in the beginning?
They're all one woman, there's only one man.
So find one.
You know, but we've got different faces to fit with what their personal preference is, but it's the same spirit model, you know. That's it, you know.
If they're
life.
Face right now, wait until the Father brings them out before you.
We are all the same. We're all selfish, man and woman. Okay.
So we should be, because that's what we know.
Should we be?
It's authentic living, because our self is written with a big capital S. That is the guiding light.
Well, I think that's the difference between a parent and someone who's not had children yet. Because when you become a parent, it doesn't occur to you like that.
Right, well,
you see consequences in your actions
as the authority of my path.
And therefore it becomes very important.
I'd say, don't be hasty becoming a parent, yeah? Make sure you know what you're bleeding doing.
But if you are a parent, you can't suddenly turn your back and say, well, you know what? The lesson is, I shouldn't have done that. You accept the reality. That is the real truth.
There's a path for those as well. It's called Buddhism.
Yeah, but you can't claim, oh well, because I've had no kids, that's a greater truth. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? Where did you come from?
No, it's not a greater truth.
Where did you come from, man?
It's just part of the truth.
Where did you come from? It's an abstinence without meaning.
It's
Catholicism.
It's very meaning.
And Catholicism, right, is designed, like a lot of these religions, right, to frustrate people with nonsense.
Be frustrated and eventually take control.
Yeah? The reason why they had to take control of that book and claim authorship of it is because it contains truths in it that, left unchecked, will have people doing things for themselves, and they'll be outside of the control of the individuals who want to control others.
Right. And
No, I don't want to control others. I want my life
having a family
for my.
in this day and age is to be under their control more than not having a family right now.
When have you heard Mark Passio say he wants to do what he does? Or David Icke? Or Alex Jones? Or me? Or even yourself? Do you really want to be doing that?
Be yourself. That's all I'm being. I'm just being myself.
It's hard work, mate.
What, being yourself?
Yeah.
Know
even
thyself
that.
and be yourself. Make no justification for the good or bad of it. Because
Well, this is being myself. I've got a knowledge of the world that precedes things that happened before today. And if someone's telling me something, and they claim to be some guy that everybody has to listen to.
I'm claiming to be myself. That's all. I'm just being myself.
Yeah. Well,
don't ask me to be someone else because I get all of that. All like.
If I have to judge things, I have to judge things. That's the way it is.
I'll judge it from your perspective, yeah. You don't make generalisations. This is what I think.
I find the generalisations I've tried to make are unifying generalisation as opposed to a divisive one.
None of them have landed well with me.
But because, it's like saying black people and white people are different.
Don't say black people and white people.
Skin colour doesn't make a difference to who we are, though, does it?
People are different. Leave the colour. People are different. And they're the same at the same time.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And they're not different.
So when you say...
They're not different in the same way. The difference in the sameness is such a blend.
Just because people are where they're at doesn't mean they can't come to where I am. And if I say what I say, and it brings them closer to where I am, that's its purpose fulfilled.
I would say the same thing.
That's its purpose fulfilled.
Right.
So speaking about all of these diverse things, I'm just trying to bring a oneness between myself and myself, I and I, as we say.
Right.
Consciousness, heart and mind,
right.
Working together, and not,
You see what you're getting now? You're getting
hypocrisy with each other.
You're getting agreement now. Because you're speaking right. The whole point is to be where I am. Which I am are you talking about? The great I am.
I think what I'm learning, what you're learning in the moment is the discussions, the great discussions between all humanity as we have our battles, wrestles with angels, spiritual forces, concepts that have to be visualised like that because you just won't get it, And you're a baby, really, when I first tell you this, so I have to tell you like this. The Bible is basic instruction, basic for babies. So when we're arguing Humpty Dumpty and the colour of Jesus Christ, what a load of crap. Right? What a load of crap. All that divisiveness over truth, great truth, profound thinking. It's not the way to... You can use a book in any way, according to your perception. I've come to use this book to make it mean this. Oh, yeah, you can kind of see that in it, because we're all profound, deep beings.
Right. And if you read it for yourself...
You'll come to your truth.
And leave the propaganda and what other people say out.
Right.
You just read it.
Right.
I think most people will...
If the Bible was promoted like Desperate Housewives, how would it look?
I found it straight away, because I wasn't reading from an agenda other than God is real.
Mm.
And if you read it with the perspective that God is real, despite all of this bullshit and parable, it's still talking about my personal development plan.
It's everybody's personal development plan.
Exactly. And the point is to get...
And just as you said before, we've got different books, all these different religions, got the Quran, and they all seem to have a story that's similar.
The Quran, have you read the Quran?
No, because I don't read Arabic.
So, yeah, but there's English translation.
But the one thing that unifies me, right, with everybody is love.
Have you read
it? No, I've not read it.
So you can't really say about what other books say.
I understand myself, and in understanding myself, I understand all mankind. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, but the Quran is... I'd like to discuss that sort of thing with you, but it means that you've got to read it first before we can share ideas about it.
We're already sharing ideas about it, without even having read it.
Yeah, but the Quran's such a book that it speaks of Jesus as this historical personality.
Yeah, I've heard those those discussions before.
Which?
He's a prophet, but he's just like a minor prophet. They've got their versions of prophets that they will adhere to, who are greater than the Christians' prophets.
Right. So
But the story, the meaning of these stories is kind of one and the same. Where we're trying to get to, the destination. You go left, you're going to end up back where we are. You're trying to do evil with it, your truth is going to end up right on the opposite side of the truth. If you just peek round that wall, you're in the same place.
To do evil or good.
The truth will be manifest by both. But the cause of our current conditions, where we find ourselves, is by following a certain path. So if we follow the other path, even though we end up with, oh yeah, we still recognise what the truth is out of both these types of actions, we end up with a better liberty. It's on the same planet Earth.
Have you got any change?